Good good morning, good afternoon. Losing track of the time now. Hello and welcome to your English video for today's lesson. I'm just going to get my screen up so you can see what I see. Okay, so today is Thursday, the 7th of January, and today we're going to be looking to construct a toolkit for writing a set of instructions. Just a recap, yesterday we looked over the vocabulary that you're going to be using, or you're going to be seeing quite a lot of when we, especially in the text map that we have for you. We read through that yesterday. We're going to recap that and read through that today again. And then we're going to discuss and look at some of the features that we see in instructional writing. So without further ado, let's get going. So the text map, we're going to read through it again. Okay. Now, whilst I'm reading through this, I want you to jot down any features that you see of instructional writing. Okay, and it could be anything. Okay, it could be anything that you see, anything that jumps out at you. So I'm going to read it, and whilst I'm doing that, you write down some things. So, for example, I may start with how to build an empire. And I think to myself, how to build an empire, that is a subheading. So down on my piece of paper or on my whiteboard, I'm going to write down subheading. Okay, and then I may, or in fact, it's not a subheading. My mistake, it's a heading. Okay, and then I look down and see what you will need, what you have to do. They are subheadings. I may write that down as well. Okay? I'm not going to give away too much, but that's what you've got to do whilst I'm reading. So just jot down anything that you see that is a feature of instructional writing. So how to build an empire. Are you interested in building your own empire? Do you lie in your bed dreaming of ruling over a kingdom? You see yourself conquering tribes and building a colosseum? If so, the likelihood is that you are destined to be a powerful ruler, but do not despair. Help is at hand. Building an empire is not as hard as you think. Read these step-by-step instructions, and soon you too could be the ruler of a powerful empire. What you will need: an army, land, shields, and good walking shoes, and weapons. What do you have to do? Well, number one, first, you should carefully train your army in the art of warfare. Number two, secondly, you must bravely lead an army across the sea to a new land. Number three, after that, fiercely invade the lands, plundering and murdering those in your way. Number four, now you must make sure you defeat anyone that tries to stand in your way. Number five, rule over your kingdom proudly. And an important note, please remember, in order for your empire to run smoothly, it needs a strong leader. A common issue that these leaders face is the threat of unexpected death. Try your best to avoid this and rule over your people fairly, or fairly rule over your people. Otherwise, you may be assassinated. So there's our text map. And hopefully you jotted down some things whilst I was reading that. So what did you notice about them instructions? And hopefully you would have got together some ideas similar to what I showed you. So maybe you saw some headings and subheadings, maybe you saw other things like bullet points or numbers. And it's not just what it looks like as well, but what actually goes into it. So the content of the instructions as well. How are they made up? So we are going to create a toolkit of everything that goes inside instructions. Okay. Now I may not have enough space on my board, but I'll try to do some of it for you, and we work together. So we're going to do visual thinking. So when we look at the instructions without reading them, we notice the following things. We notice the title, paragraphs, subheadings, a list, steps, and then there may be a diagram and an illustration that goes with it. Okay, there's a, you would add a diagram illustration maybe to go with it as well. But you can see here we've got headings, we've got subheadings, we had paragraphs that were being used here. So we can see the paragraphs. We've got steps and numbers being used. We've got bullet points in a list being used as well. So they're the things that we can clearly see when we are looking at that set of instructions. Now, if we were to look a little bit closely, okay, and we read it in more depth, we start picking out the actual grammatical features of the text. So it's a second person point of view. So it's not written in first person, is it? It's not written in third, it's written in second. Are you, do you? So it's in second person. So that's very important to remember. The other thing that we can see here is the use of imperative verbs, okay? Fiercely invade the lands. Now you must rule over your kingdom proudly. So these are imperative verbs that we have used in our instructions here as well. And then we've got adverbials of time. And you can see in our text, we have first, secondly, after that. So these are all adverbials of times that are telling us the order in which we need to do things. And that also links into the next one, which is chronological. Our list of instructions of telling us what to do is in chronological order. That means we do it in a time order. So you're not actually ruling over your kingdom first. That comes after you've actually invaded and created your kingdom. So that's very important as well. We then have technical vocabulary, we've got bullet points and numbering, and we've got rhetorical questions in our introduction as well. So we've got some rhetorical questions there that are very good to get you hooked into this set of instructions. Technical vocabulary as well. So we're using words like powerful, Colosseum, invading, plundering. These are all our key vocabulary words that we can see in our instructions. So not only do you look at what it looks like, but you look at what goes into the content. So when we have a look now at our set of instructions here, we've got our title at the top, how to build an empire. And then we've got our paragraphs. We've got an introductory paragraph here. Okay, we have a paragraph at the end to close off our set of instructions. And in between, we've got some subheadings, okay, which is going to tell us what are in these little parts of our instructions. Here we have a list of things that we will need to help us be successful in invading and making our empire. And below that, we've got another subheading which says, what do you need to do? And then that lists the steps in numbers, in order of what we need to do. Then diagram illustration, make your own one up. We've got one here, but you want to have a diagram or an illustration that is related to, obviously, the set of instructions that we're using. Second person point of view. Okay, so when we were reading this, are you interested in building your own empire? You can see here that we are using our own second person, not first person point of view. We've used imperative verbs such as fiercely, invade, rule over your country. Okay, so when you're doing yours, you probably want to add some more to that. Adverbials of time, firstly, secondly, and after that. Our instructions are put in chronological order here, and we've used bullet points and numbering and rhetorical questions that are here as well. So let me use my pen. I'm going to highlight. Some things here. So we've got our title, we've got our list. So yeah, so we've got some imperative verbs here. You know, invade, rule over your country. Our second person, are you interested in building your own empire? Do you lie in your bed dreaming of ruling over a kingdom? They are also rhetorical questions as well. So you can see here we do have some questions in our instructions as well. We've got bullet points that are here, and we've got numbering here as well. Okay, so that's just a few things that you'll see there. And of course, I apologise we haven't got a diagram, but you can maybe make up your own diagram to go with your set of instructions. Ooh, I've jumped over. There we are. So your tasks for today are to create a toolkit for instructional writing. Number 2 is to find examples of the features in the text, which I've just kind of done just beforehand. And number 3, can you explain why the instructions are laid out in a specific way? And you can explain that verbally, or you can write that down. So when you're creating your toolkit for your work, remember how we do our toolkits in school. Let's go back to the text map. Okay. So let's have a think. You can put that here. Oh no, we're not doing it so far. So have a look at this slide here, and when you're doing your toolkit, think to yourself, what do we have as the title? Okay, and the title here is How to Build an Empire. Okay, we then have our paragraphs, and in our paragraphs, we've got an introduction paragraph to begin with. So in our paragraphs, we've got things like rhetorical questions. We have rhetorical questions. We have second person. It's written in second person. We have technical vocabulary. Okay, so these things that you're going to do. So you can actually set it out like a little table chart format if you want. You could do it as a spider diagram. So your title is How to Build an Empire. Your paragraphs, what do you contain in your paragraphs? Make sure you've got rhetorical questioning, second person, technical vocabulary, what subheadings have been used. When you're doing your step-by-step, that would probably be another thing here. So we do step-by-step. What features do you see there? What do you need to do to have a step-by-step guide? So make sure you've got things like numbers, maybe bullet points in a list, time connectives and things like that. I hope that helps out with creating your toolkit for a set of instructions. But use this slide as well to help you if you are stuck. Okay, so that's the end of the lesson. I hope that makes it clear was what you need to do. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.